All right, here we are yet again. It's only been 2 days. But we're
Yeah.
back. So,
Yeah. Happy to be back. It's pretty exciting.
okay, let's do the intro.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I love that intro.
you want to go first?
Sure. So basically, just to review from last time, so you guys get used to the format, we're going to go through 3 questions and try to hit it within 15 minutes. So 2 minutes each per question. So we're going to start with progress, then go to struggles, then go to plans. So we'll start with progress. My progress this week has been pretty effective. I think the last time I was saying that my goal was to finish an illustration for a client, which I did. There's some revisions, which is kind of to be expected. So that's going to be tying in later. But I did achieve that goal. And then I did manage to get my rough lettering done for the next page of Quarterly Stories, as well as a thumbnail of the page, like right after we finished. So overall, my progress is pretty good so far, and I'm feeling pretty accomplished. But funnily enough, like the illustration took a little longer, and so it was a little disappointing. It took me about maybe a couple hours longer than I was expecting. So, but that's something I'm learning still, even like 15 years into this, is just how to properly manage and measure my own time, like, and how long it's going to take to make stuff. So, but that was oh, and then I created a new vlog, which I felt good about because there had just been this long lag in getting vlogs, and now that I have a new computer that can handle uploads, I can actually get back to a regular vlogging schedule on my channel. So that's exciting too. So yeah, that's, I mean, pretty good progress so far. Should we switch to you?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So let me kill. Still getting used to this. Okay. So I have been sitting on this page for a week. It's been penciled for a while. I didn't do anything on it last week because of a bunch of stuff. And so actually, because of this, last night I was exhausted. I was like, dude, I need to just crash and take a nap. But I was like, no, I'm going to report tomorrow. So I need to do something. So I inked this, and it's right here. And so I've got kind of this pose going on. And
Nice.
of course, now it's not going to work. Let's see if it reloads. There we go. And so I filmed a little bit of it. And it worked out. It worked out pretty well. I was pretty happy with it. Mainly, I guess this would be part of struggles, but I can talk about that in a minute. But so I got that done, and then I spent a little longer than I should have today getting a lot of this stuff ready for this. But I think so. We've got 2-minute timers now for this, and we've got a 1-minute timer, and we're able to kind of jump back and forth between like actually showing stuff, so it's not just talking heads.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that is just me learning OBS, which is what we're using to kind of live stream, and my kind of Elgato Stream Deck switcher.
Nice.
Yeah, ultimately finish this page, which it took a little while, but it wasn't like a super complicated page. There's no real background, and it was just kind of one figure, but it is like an 11 by 17. So
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was pretty happy with that progress, and then I'm just realizing my timer, when I switch scenes, it resets the timer. So we'll have to think that through. I'll come up with a different solution, but yeah, so that's progress. How about for you for struggles?
Well, before we get into struggles, I just want to mention that timer is amazing. So the timers like have the head
I can
rotate
just toggle
as we
back
go.
and forth between the two of them.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so let me get into struggles. So yeah, I kind of dipped into it a little bit. I don't think it'll take a whole 2 minutes, the full head rotation to get through it. But Yeah, for me, the biggest struggle is effectively projecting how long it's going to take me to do stuff because and with that, not so much for clients because I'm pretty good at that. I buy a little extra window when I state like a deadline or something like that, but more for myself and my own expectations of myself because I'll often set a too high of an expectation and feel disappointment in return because I'm like, oh, I only got half my illustration done. I ended up illustrating till like 1 in the morning, one of the days on that illustration for that client, and came like 2 figures shy. And it's a lot of figures in the illustration of finishing. And I felt so disappointed when I went to bed instead of just being kind of realistic and going like, that's actually pretty good progress. So that I'd say was my big struggle, and probably will be one of my big struggles moving forward is trying to effectively calculate and balance that.
So is your frustration in that area just that you set up some expectations for yourself that you didn't meet, or is it that you're trying to make a certain amount per hour, and when you spend longer on a fixed bid, it takes some of that down, or what's do you think is stemming from what's causing that frustration? I'm curious.
I honestly think it comes from little to do with money, because like the time that I'm spending on it is definitely well worth what I'm getting compensated for it,
Sure.
but it's more of just self expectation. Like I always sort of expect myself to be 20 times faster than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had that forever. So usually I plan for that even mentally, but for some reason I haven't been able to kick it. And I think it's a type A personality type thing.
Yeah.
Because I have high expectations of myself, and it, bodes really well when you have, a management position because you have high expectations for everybody.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to like just kind of being realistic, sometimes it can be a little challenging, at least for myself. I'm usually more forgiving of other people on that kind of thing than my own thing. I don't know if you have that kind of struggle, but
Oh yeah, I'm way harder on myself than I am on other people.
yeah. And it's one of those things of like, it's a learning game. I'm better at it than I was 15 years ago, but it was a good reminder of like, I'm a human being. Like I can't, spin a billion plates and effectively do everything super fast, good, and cheap. You have to pick two and be happy with it.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what about you?
I I don't know how to describe this, but I feel like I'm really new to inking, and I don't know how much longer I'm allowed to say that because I've been doing it for a couple of years now. But the human figure and faces and hair are huge areas in my art where I need to massively improve, and so I'm very self-conscious about what I can do there, and I kind of hated like when it comes to like plants and rocks and like a lot of this book I can have huge areas where I can improvise, and so my pencils are almost just rough thumbnails, just really big, and so I can just be like, this area is going to have foliage, and then I can just ink foliage. Like I don't have to think about it that much. But when it comes to the human figure, like I'm watching other people do stuff, and I see how they're doing cross hatching. I see how they're doing, kind of the lift at the end that gives it this really nice taper. And I feel like I haven't solidified how I want to like depict skin and faces and hair and stuff with ink. And so a lot of what I did yesterday was just kind of accentuating the fact that I don't have a clear understanding of the techniques that I want to use. And so the image to me, it turned out okay. I'm not super excited about it. I'm glad that it's done, but I feel like it's kind of random. Like there are places where I'm using cross hatching, places where I'm doing some scribbles, other places where I'm filling in large spots of black, and there's just no continuity to it. And I think it'll bug me and bug other artists. I don't know that most people will care or notice, but that's kind of my struggle, is that yesterday was just a lot of weak areas for me in what I'm working on. So
Yeah, and it's interesting because I'm not sure from what you're describing if that goes away.
right.
Um, because of the fact, it's like anything. It's a learning process doing this whole thing,
Right.
like this whole life thing. So it's like, you're only going to improve. And then once you improve and level up, which I'm sure you've done in the last 2 years, I can guarantee that because
Oh
I've
yeah.
seen mass improvement in like, months in what you're doing.
Right.
But it's like you're going to level up, and every time you level up, there's this like one day where you're going to feel awesome because you've leveled up, and then the next day you're going to wake up and be like, I'm weak in this area. It's tough, but you'll gather more skills and kind of acquire the knowledge. But from what you showed, it doesn't look inconsistent. It looks pretty
and
consistent.
that's why, I mean, I experienced the drawing, and other people are just going to see the finished result, and so kind of my insecurities and indecision and everything, because I typically don't have a lot of indecision in inking. But when I do, I just feel like it's just something I've just got to draw more people, and it'll be fine. And this is way different than my normal imposter syndrome, beat myself up artist thing. It's very specifically the human figure. I just and faces in general, and so
it's a challenge too. That's a challenge, and honestly, you'll start inking in one way, and then you'll change it up. And,
right.
It's gonna happen until you find that groove.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, should we get into plans?
Yeah, plans.
All right.
Okay, so what are your plans for the next 2 days?
All right. I need to tonight get the first layer of rough pencils done for the next page of Quarterly Stories, and then hopefully by the time we do this, the next one of these, I'll have page penciled and ready to print out. The method I'm using on these is digitally doing it, so it's a little different than if you guys have followed my vlog and stuff like that. Like, you've mostly been seeing me work on kind of more realistic pages, and these cartoony pages, I find it's easier to actually digitally pencil, which is a little different than manually penciling like I do with the realism stuff. So it's a little bit of a fun process, but today I want to get those loose, the first round of loose pencils done, tomorrow the next round, and then get a little further on revisions for that t-shirt project that I'm working on. And other than that, I've got my vlog done for the week, so if I can manage to crank out another, that'd be good. But yeah, that's pretty much my goals for the week. So I'm a little early. Yay! Which is crazy because I'm usually very rambly.
That's okay, because we've both gone over asking each other questions on the other two. So, yeah. So for me, is it not going to start back over? All right, it's broken. Okay, we'll just.
No.
I'm still. That wasn't even it. Okay. This is a live show, so we're just gonna roll.
No worries.
With it. Got it. So yeah. I've got a couple. One is a little interesting. I teach on college campus, and every year we have professional development leave, which is it's a certain amount of time and funds that we can basically write a proposal for, and so the opportunity is there for me to go to a conference or exhibition or something. And so I am, for a number of reasons, I'm trying to figure out somewhere back east, because I want to hook up with some students and do some interviews as well, so that we've got some programs. This is way long-winded. I'm trying to figure out, in the next 2 days, I need to decide what conference or exhibition or show or something that will help me improve professionally and help me teach students and stuff like that better. Probably in New York or kind of a larger city somewhere on the East Coast. And so that's one. Smart. And then the other one would be, I I'm really bad at finishing a page and then not planning what I'm going to do the next day, and then it takes me a couple days to kind of get back into it. I kind of ride this high of I finished something, and so today before I go to bed, I'm actually planning to plan. Does that make sense? So I have a Trello board, and I'm gonna get into my Trello board and see which page I'm going to start next, because I don't have any other pages penciled. So I'm going to pencil a few pages for the next few days so that I can ink again. I like to batch things, and so
Nice.
those are my plans for the next 48 hours.
All right. Well, that sounds like a good plan, and actually, that's really cool that your school does that, because that's really important for people who are teaching to be able to keep active in the field, and that's cool that they're encouraging of that. Because I've also heard the opposite experience is true of some schools, so that's really cool.
I've had both things happen at the same time, where I've got some people telling me you need to do PDL, and other people telling me we need you to teach an extra section, but you can't go over because we're not going to pay you, so you can't do PDL. And finally, all parties seem to have come together and decided that we need to keep our teachers relevant in the classroom.
Yep.
So that was good. So that was really good.
That's extremely good, and that's great for the students, which is a sign of a good
Right.
school. So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So any kind of last minute stuff? I mean, like for me, I'd just offer encouragement on the planning thing, because that's something I myself struggle with. Being a creative, you kind of battle through, especially on a book project, you battle through these pages and stuff like that. And every time I finish a page, I kind of get that little high,
Yeah.
especially if you have a really good night, or maybe you get the page done and a little extra done that you didn't expect. And it's just like, you kind of hit this wave, and the next day it's very hard to get back.
To me, it's kind of like when I work out. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I feel like I can celebrate by eating garbage. I'm like, mm-hmm. I've worked out. I'm gonna go have a bunch of ice cream and eat like 5 burgers and whatever else. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, I finished a page. I'm gonna play video games for 3 days. So yeah, I need to, and I do want to continue to have kind of celebrations and I and not burn out.
For sure.
I just need to do that in a way that doesn't mean I, like don't work for a week.
Yeah.
But one thing is, if you're aware of anything, children's book illustration wise, or Comic-Cons or anything going on kind of in the New York area, or if anybody in the chats wants to make suggestions kind of any time this year from now until the end of the year, I'd love suggestions on that. Would be awesome.
Nice. I don't know if Mocha's happened yet, but that might be worth it. That's a pretty good convention in New York that might be helpful.
Yeah,
promoting kids' book.
I'll check that out. That'd be awesome.
So. Awesome. I'm personally like pretty excited about this going, and I think it's going to be really beneficial to keep me on my game, because even now I'm like, oh great, I just set myself up and now I have to draw after this, which is good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. And this timer that's going on right now, by the way, is a 1-minute timer, so we're 2 rotations around, so we got 1 more minute. And I want to say we got a really good response from a few people who already were saying, "Oh, I think I'm going to do this." I saw several people on there and I'm like, "Yeah, do it." And so, if anybody else is going to do this, I don't know what will become of this or how it will happen, but you should totally do it, because it's been we've just done one cycle, I guess you would call it, and already I'm seeing huge benefits, and so it's really awesome.
Yeah, and I think so far Mike Emirates and Marshall Couture are the guys who've like expressed a lot of interest in possibly doing this, and I'd love to see them doing this. It'd be fun to see, and it's a little easier to follow for people too. Yeah, because it's 15 minutes, so it's not a huge investment.
Yeah.
So join us. Do
it. We should have make it kind of gamify this, so that like a buzzer goes off or something, so we have to stop talking.
I like it. Maybe we could just, modify it to where that explosion from the beginning just goes. But I think that's it. So, awesome. Should we call it?
Yeah. Let me switch to the credits, and why don't you take us out this time?
All right. thanks for checking us out, and check out my stuff at quarterlystories.com, and you're on my channel, so you know where to find me. Check out Cory Kerr, subscribe to his channel. That'll be linked in the show notes. Also check him out at corykerr.com. And thanks to the other members of my band for letting us use the music. And you can check that out at No Saboteurs. And once again, make sure you're subscribed to both our channels if you want to follow this weird experiment we're doing. And we will see you guys in 2 days. Boom.
Okay, see ya.